Speech off.
Hey everybody, it's Beverly, and I'm going out my two back doors right now into a furnace blast of heat. Look, Gretchen doesn't even want to come out. We're not exactly doing this according to Hoyle because I've got this video recorder in my hand. So we're going to bebop down the stairs. We're coming now with our back door. Gretchen, let's find the stairs. Good girl. Forward. And I'm going to show you something that happened to me about 4 years ago. I came out the stairs just like I did now, but I didn't have Gretchen. And my objective on that day was to come right out here past this garage, except for at the time it was a one-car garage, and now it's a three-car garage, and come to the other side of my driveway, which I can tell the texture ends right here. Now I'm in the grass, and I came over to this side of my yard, and let me show it to you. My objective was to spend about 45 minutes to an hour picking up pecans. And okay, Gretchen, let's find the stairs. Where's the stairs? Where's our stairs? Are these our stairs? There's the side of the house. Okay, now I know where we are. Now I'm going to show you the pecan tree. That's why I needed to know where the stairs are. Show you the pecan tree, and every fall it starts producing pecans, and several years we've gotten like 300 pounds of pecans. I measure them. But on this day 4 years ago, I had totally forgotten that I couldn't see. And I've been gradually losing my eyesight. If you watch any of my videos, you know that. I have gradually lost my sight, and it's gone from poor vision to very poor mobility vision to basically no mobility vision. But on this particular afternoon, which was in the fall, I came out here, and all the pecans fall all down under the tree. But as I don't know if you can tell, there are limbs that go way, way into the sky, and then they come across our yard. And so the pecans fall all in this yard, just thousands and thousands of pecans. And so this was one Sunday afternoon in the fall. It was nice and cool, and I grabbed a brown paper bag, and I didn't have Gretchen, of course, and I came out with my ballet flats on, because with flats I'm able to feel the pecans, or with really any shoes you can feel the pecans. With flats I can feel like, oh, I've got 5 pecans under this foot, and I've got 3 pecans under this foot. And then I would just step aside, pick up all 8 pecans, throw them in the bag, and then step 2 steps to the side and pick up more pecans, and then step 3 steps to the side and pick up more pecans. And I'm just out here enjoying life that afternoon. And it was on a Sunday, I remember that, because there was no traffic. I think I'm pointing straight ahead at the side street that goes by my house. And there was no traffic on that street. And there were no air conditionings running back then, because it was a nice, cool fall day. We didn't need heaters, so I couldn't hear compressors anywhere. It's just nice, dead silence and nice, relaxing atmosphere for me to come out and just mindlessly pick up pecans. Well, I was so intent on what I was going to do and excited about pecans, because we eat them. I shell them, and we freeze them, and we eat them, and we give them away as gifts, and we bake with them and stuff like that. And I got out here, and a couple of people that know me stopped, and we visited, and I kept picking up pecans. Several people say, my gosh, how in the world, they're amazed that I feel them with my feet and can pick up just as many pecans as a sighted person can pick up. I don't think 300 pounds is too shabby for one old pecan tree, but I've done that in the past. Anyway, on this day when I just came bebopping out of the house, just like Gretchen and I, just bounding down the stairs and out into this side yard and spending a good 45 minutes picking up pecans, and my bag was full, and I finally says, okay, my back is starting to hurt, I'm ready to go inside. I stood up and I looked around. Now, that car that just passed, that noise was not there. But I stood up and I called myself looking around, and I saw nothing of what this video camera is seeing. All I saw was an overexposed view of nothing, of gray and bright white and sparkles. So then I waited and I thought, okay, I'm going to hear a car sooner or later, and I'll know at least which direction the street is in, and I can walk toward that street. And if I keep walking toward the street, I'll eventually hit the city sidewalk, and then I will know that I will go right. I mean, I certainly could have oriented myself, but I kept getting no audio cues, and I had no visual cues. And prior to that moment, I had forgotten that I couldn't see. Now, that's kind of a ridiculous idea, but that's exactly what happened to me that day. And I ended up, I started feeling a little anxious. So I thought, okay, I'll have to get my way out of this. My husband wasn't at home. Nobody's home. Nobody lived next door. We owned the home, but it was under renovation, so nobody lived next door. And so I thought, I'm just going to have to figure my way out of this until I hear a vehicle on the street. I kept listening, didn't hear anything. And I eventually walked probably 50 yards, but in the wrong direction. And I ended up in the next door house in their backyard, which goes way, way, way back. And I knew I had no idea where I was. There were no street noises. There were no house noises. There was nothing. And because you heard that compressor go on there. Well, that lets me know exactly where I am, because I know that compressor wasn't there then. So after I wandered into that backyard next door, Gretchen, no. After I walked into that backyard next door, sit, Gretchen, I realized I had no idea where I was. And then almost full panic set in. I just eked around. It was getting dusk. Again, I had no cell phone on me. No one was at home. No neighbors that I know, because we're surrounded some by businesses. Anyway, so I found one fence post that was at least a landmark. Gretchen, you ready to go inside? It's getting a little too hot for you out here. Anyway, I found one fence post, and I didn't really know where the fence post was, but I backed myself up to the fence post and just kind of leaned against it. And so therefore, it seemed like an eternity. It probably was no more than 5 minutes. I started orienting myself to where in the world that fence post could possibly be on my property. And I thought I knew where it might be, so I eked a little more space. I continued a little bit further, and I found another landmark eventually, and then I found another landmark, and eventually, after about 20 minutes, I found my way home. Come on, Gretchen, here's the stairs. Forward, good girl. But the point of the whole video that I'm trying to make is that you always, always, always have to be mindful. When you can't see, you have to be mindful of where you are in space and time and what you're doing. And you can't... I remember about 2 months later finally confessing to my doctor. I was having just a regular routine physical, and I said, you know what? And she said, what? And I said, I had a really bad experience in that I got lost in my own backyard. And when I said it like that, she and I just both burst out laughing, because she knows me to be a pretty level-headed person, and certainly very capable with my cane at that point. She saw me getting out, in and out of her office, but then when I started realizing, exactly, I actually analyzed what had happened. I had left this door here. I'm sitting in my back foyer. My cane always was in the corner, so as I trailed the wall, I would pick up my cane. But at the moment that I was thinking about picking up pecans and what a beautiful fall day it was, and that I had 45 minutes to an hour just to do something mindless and go out there and pick up pecans. Well, it really did end up being mindless because I just lost myself. And I literally lost myself in my own backyard. So the point of the video is that you must always keep your mind at task. And it would be so wonderful if people that were sighted would do that. But people that are blind, sometimes our physical safety, most of the time, our physical safety depends on that. And that day was really a scary day for me, but it was also a learning day for me because now when I go outside, I don't necessarily do it, but I do remember that day. That day was a teaching moment for me, because even now when I go outside just to water the plants on the deck or go take the trash out, which is 30 feet from my back door, or go out my front door and go check the mail, which is right out my double doors and at the end of my sidewalk, I take either my cane or I take Gretchen. Mostly I take Gretchen because she loves going outside. And even if she's not on harness, she likes to be on leash just to accompany me for my outside task, which is really nothing. I mean, taking out the trash, getting the newspaper, getting the mail, watering the plants. She just likes to go out. So I don't have to be reminded of that because it's enjoyable for her, but I do need to always keep in mind that when you can't see, you have to always be on alert with all your other cues. And, there's no grid out there, so I really couldn't have picked up the pecans based on a grid. And that had always worked for me before. The method that I was using that day had always worked before. I've picked up the pecans ever since we've lived in this house. So, I've been able to go out there and feel them with my feet, pick them up, put them in the sack, and then stand up and say, okay, now I've got to walk, 5 feet this way and 17 feet that way, and I'm at the door because I can see all this. But my eyes were at the point that they just couldn't see. And from one fall to the next, which is how long it had been, that's how much my vision had changed. But because I was not living in the moment and wasn't functioning in the moment and didn't have blindness on my mind, it ended up being a very teachable moment for me, and unfortunately a scary one that, I've had some disorienting events since then, but I go back to that one day and I think about how I problem solved that day, and I apply a lot of those actions and techniques into problem solving now. And I've got more abilities now because I'm longer into my vision loss. I've got a good 4 years on me now that I didn't have then, where I have become more accustomed to just looking around and not being able to see my environment. And you truly lose that scary feeling eventually, that it doesn't surprise you or shock you. So That's all I wanted to say in this video. It's really too hot for Gretchen and I to go and stay outside right now, and she's enjoying inside. And I took her on a walk a while ago, and she turned around at the corner and pulled me back like an Iditarod dog. So anyway, we're inside for the day, and I've got lots of chores I need to do anyway. I just thought I would film this video particularly because it's been on my mind for a long time. And it's all about safety and keeping yourself safe, keeping yourself present, and keeping yourself mindful and keeping your mind on task. And I will talk to you next time, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.